Midterm elections are coming up in OC and across the country. We'll let you know just what's on your ballot.
I'm Kate Worsham, live at a ballot box, here to tell you one of the many ways you can vote in this upcoming midterm election.
And later, a live interview with an infectious disease expert to learn more about flu vaccine disparities.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this week's edition of Chapman News. I'm Caroline Applegate.
And I'm Emma Charles. We begin today with another leadership change in Great Britain. The UK has a new Prime Minister as of today, the country's third this year. Rishi Sunak takes over after Liz Truss stepped down. She was only in office for 6 weeks and left the country in an economic crisis. Sunak has become the first person of color to hold the position, and at 42, the youngest as well. He is spending most of today assigning cabinet members looking to tackle the UK's financial woes.
Also new today, Adidas has terminated its Yeezy deal with Ye, the rapper formerly known as Kanye West, after posting anti-Semitic comments that got him kicked off some social media platforms. Ye challenged Adidas in a podcast interview, saying the company would never drop him from their partnership.
The thing about it being Adidas is like, I could literally say anti-Semitic and they can't drop me. I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me.
Forbes has projected that Ye will lose $1.5 billion as a result of the termination of the Adidas deal. Ye has also been dropped by his talent agency, Creative Artists Agency. In Los Angeles on Saturday, a group of Ye's supporters stood on top of a 405 highway overpass, holding signs with anti-Semitic language.
In OC News, California State Senator Dave Min is speaking out against LGBTQ+ hate following his recent visit to the Orange Unified School District. Min posted on Twitter that he recently visited classes to learn about transitional kindergarten programs and that an openly gay official was part of the group that accompanied him. Min described this official as politically active in LGBTQ+ causes, but Min says that the topic never came up during the class visits. Still, Min says several parents criticized the involvement of the official in the school tour. Min called the homophobia exhibited by the parents disgraceful. He tweet-coded, "It is incredibly sad that a small number of people spewing hateful rhetoric have distracted us from what should be the real focus of the parents here, the incredible success of OUSD in providing careful, high-quality instruction in the elementary schools." The countdown is on. Election Day is 2 weeks from today, and there is a lot of local and national interest in the OC congressional races. Orange County's history as a conservative stronghold changed in 2018 when the blue wave wiped out the county's Republican congressional delegation. The GOP had a bit of a comeback locally 2 years ago and hopes to keep that momentum.
I think that while the incumbents have a natural advantage that folks have in politics, the national issues right now, the national trends, as well as the hard work that we've been, doing day in and day out that aren't on TV, but are going and knocking on doors every day, making phone calls and making those connections to try to earn votes. I think that's getting us to a place where we may be able to completely reverse the fortunes of 2018.
In 2020, the county went purple, split evenly with 2 Republicans picking up House seats and 2 Democrats keeping their seats. Now some candidates are running in new districts due to redrawn district lines. Wes Hodge of the Orange County Democratic Party answered on what it would take for Democrats to win the midterms: quality candidates with a sound campaign plan who can speak to voters about what matters to them. It is an uphill battle for certain in 2022 and likely the case until redistricting in 2032. The last 2 congressional elections have seen record voter turnout locally. Chapman University political science professor Fred Smoller thinks that this will again be the case this midterms with certain issues on the front line of the ballot.
If gas prices drop by half and if inflation abated, I think if the economy improved dramatically, Democrats would do much better. That seems to be the key issue that voters are talking about, is the state of the economy. And so the Republicans have successfully said that we have this tremendous inflation because the Democrats went on a spending spree. I don't think that's entirely accurate. So it's the economy.
Of course, it is important to know where and how to cast your vote. Kate Worsham joins us live from a voting center here in Orange. Kate?
Thanks, Emma and Caroline. I'm currently at the Orange Public Library, which will turn into a voting center on Saturday, October 29th, and run until November 8th, Election Day.
Is this the only voting center in the Chapman area?
This is one of 8 voting centers in the city of Orange. Even though we're only a 5-minute walk from the circle, there will be a voting center even closer for Chapman students. One will open at the Argyros Forum on November 5th.
And how else can we cast our votes in the upcoming election?
Even if you can't physically make it to the polls, you can cast your vote by mail before Election Day or drop your ballot at one of the many drop boxes around the city of Orange. Live at the Orange Public Library, I'm even going to drop my ballot right now. Don't forget to get out there and vote. I'm Kate Worsham for Chapman News.
It's October, but here on campus, it's still often 80 degrees or higher. I always want to have the AC on in my house.
Me too, but I've noticed that my electric bill recently has been really pricey. This is not just a coincidence.
In California, on average, residents pay twice as much as the rest of the nation for monthly utility bills. Here at Chapman University, some students who live off campus struggle with their monthly bills on top of Southern California's high rents.
Well, before our electric bill was around like $230, and then it got to be like more like $430, so that was like really frustrating as like college student, and like having that giant like increase like in our bill was like really, hard for us.
Pay about $370 a month for electricity, which is 74% higher than the national average. SoCal Edison suggests many ways you can lower your monthly bill, including lowering the brightness of your TV and washing laundry in cold water. Police say the 19-year-old who shot and killed a teacher and a 15-year-old student at a St. Louis high school had over 600 rounds of ammunition with him. The shootings happened yesterday at Central Visual Performing Arts High School in St. Louis. In addition to those that were killed, 7 students were injured. Police say the gunman died in a shootout with officers. He also reportedly left a note saying he had no friends, calling it, quote, the perfect storm for a mass shooter.
6 weeks after the death of 22-year-old woman in Iranian police custody, protests around the world have intensified. Mahsa Amini was arrested in mid-September for not properly wearing her hijab. Her death was inspired international demonstrations, one of them taking place right here in the city of Orange. Alexandria Kodnyarts has the story.
Demonstrations against the Iranian regime have come even closer to home. The Iranian Student Cultural Organization of Chapman University organized a peaceful protest in the Orange Circle on October 15th. The ISCO president, Nikki Kalhori, says she feels empowered to be an Iranian-American woman.
Iranian women have always been so strong, and I feel that in my blood. I feel fueled by their fire, and I'm so happy that I could do something over here, because I could have been like another Iranian woman that was born in Iran, but I just happened to be an Iranian woman born in America. So I'm using my rights, using my privilege, and spreading awareness here where I can do the most.
The protest attracted other students from the Orange County area. UC Irvine student Kian Satane says that despite the many protests that are happening, many young people still don't know about the injustice.
I'm trying to get as many people to know what's happening as possible, because at my school, at the gym, no one's talking about it and no one knows, so we need to get the word out. In Iran, no one has a voice, so we have to be their voice here.
One woman attending the protest requested to remain anonymous because she says she's worried about her family in Iran. She says that she does not have the ability to contact her loved ones due to the social media ban put in place by the Iranian regime.
It makes me so upset, and at the same time, I'm so angry because they didn't cover anything about this. They are killing and slaughtering people in Iran. I'm so sad, and I just need the words, help Iran. Please help Iran.
According to the human rights activist news agency, nearly 250 people have reportedly been killed and more than 10,000 have been arrested in Iran. Kalhori shares how we as a community can help.
Continuing to post on your social media, talk about it, have those uncomfortable conversations, and just like support people, because this is one of those things that actually when you post, it actually does make a difference. So posting and raising awareness, all those stories, all those things that you interact with, they honestly do help.
This is Alexander Konyarts reporting for Chapman News.
Southern California has the largest population of Iranians outside of Iran. This past weekend, an estimated 30,000 people joined a rally in Los Angeles supporting the movement calling for women's rights in Iran. Coming up after the break, confusion over vaccine safety is causing flu vaccine disparities across the globe.
We'll be interviewing a Chapman University infectious disease expert live. Stay tuned.
I'm Brian T. There's a possibility of 2 more hurricanes hitting the East Coast this season. Stay tuned for your local and national weather report.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Spending time outdoors has never felt more valuable. Whether it's exploring nature or relaxing in your yard, let's do it responsibly. Before going out, check for closures and fire restrictions. Practice social distancing, even when outside and on the trail. Back at home, if burning yard debris, keep your pile small. And no matter where you are, be sure to properly extinguish any outdoor fire. Drown, stir, drown, feel. We're all in this together. Help keep our safe places safe.
The outpouring of love and support for actor Leslie Jordan continues today. The comedic actor died yesterday in a car accident in Los Angeles. He was born in Tennessee and got his start in the 1990 sitcom Hearts of Fire. He appeared, usually with his signature Southern drawl, in a wide array of shows, like American Horror Story, Reba, and Will and Grace. For the latter, he won an Outstanding Guest Actor Emmy in 2006. Police say Jordan experienced a medical emergency just before the crash, driving his car into the side of a building, and was pronounced dead at the scene. He was 67 years old.
A federal court has temporarily halted the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness program 1 week after the program was launched. The 8th Circuit Court of Appeals ordered the halt while it hears an appeal from officials from 6 Republican-led states. The White House says while the injunction does not prevent it from canceling any student debt right away, it also expects the program will go on and people can still apply online. The program would cancel up to $20,000 in student loans for eligible applicants. A dinosaur fossil found by Chapman University students was moved onto campus. The 78-million-year-old Griposaurus fossil was moved into Hassinger Science Center last week. The transfer from the Orange County Paleontological Center in Santa Ana was a delicate operation and took over an hour. The fossil weight was too heavy to move, and the sides of the plasters were shaved off to fit through the door. Professor Jack Horner and his students were not happy with the rough handling of the bones. The fossil will not be open to the public. However, there will be open houses in the spring for Chapman students, staff, and faculty.
I know I'm going to try to see the Griposaurus on campus.
Me too. You know what? The weather's been cooling down on campus lately, don't you think?
Yes, it's truly starting to feel like fall. I hope it stays that way. Ryan is here to tell us all about national weather updates and how it's looking here in Orange this next week. Ryan?
Yeah, that's right. We got a lot of, good dinosaur viewing weather in the forecast. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about these two systems that are forming across the Atlantic Ocean. Obviously, Hurricane Ian just passed a little over 3 weeks ago, so the East Coast is still recovering, but there are 2 new systems. The first one right here, this red one, has a 70% chance of developing, so that's kind of the one to focus on over the next 4 days. That other one right here, this yellow one, has a 30% chance of developing. So keep your eyes out on both of them. Obviously, both may develop into a more powerful hurricane or neither. So the first one that does actually is going to be named Hurricane Lisa. That's the next name up in their list, but hopefully the East Coast gets a little bit of a break, because after recovering from Hurricane Ian, it could be a stressful time of the year. But other than that, now we're going to get into our local forecast. Here on the West Coast, it's looking great. There's not much to complain about here in Orange. 76 is the daytime high for today. If you look at your phone, it's going to tell you sunshine's going to be here all day, and that's exactly what you want to hear as an Orange citizen, as a student. You can wear a light coat, some shorts, long sleeves, whatever you're wearing, it's going to be comfortable out there. Now, let's look around across the country, see what else we have going on. Similar things, really comfortable temperatures across the United States, other than the places you'd expect. Seattle over there, Chicago over here are places with rain, but you know, those cities are kind of used to that. Another city kind of used to things, Miami, still bringing the heat even on October. As Caroline mentioned earlier, we're still getting some 80-degree temperatures around the country, especially later in the week, as we'll mention in a little bit. This is the OC forecast. Same thing goes. It's just a beautiful, beautiful day today in Orange County. 70s across the board, low 70s around the beaches, nice and cool temperatures, and then more inland, reaching a little bit closer to the 80s, but like I said, it's still comfortable. It's great stuff here in Orange County. Finally, we have the Orange 5-day forecast. 70s across the board. Today's high of 78, low of 51. Friday is going to have a little bit of clouds, but still comfortable in those 70s. And then Saturday, that's going to be a great day. That's going to be potentially one of the last days to go out to the beach, 80 degrees. So take full advantage of that. It's going to be beautiful out there over this weekend. So take advantage of the time we have left while temperatures are not too hot, not too cool. And one more thing worth mentioning, obviously, not in the 5-day forecast, but Halloween is this Monday, or this coming Monday, so we won't have a show then, but wanted to mention the daytime highs for Halloween is going to be 80 degrees, and then night, when you are out trick-or-treating, it's going to be a nice, cool 64 degrees. So that's all I have here. It's really good vibes, really good weather. I'm going to send those vibes back to the desk.
Thank you, Ryan. With the change of seasons comes an increase in sickness. The CDC is already reporting an earlier than normal increase in cases of the flu, but hospitals are also worried about a spike in RSV cases, especially in kids. RSV, short for respiratory syncytial virus, is a respiratory illness with cold-like symptoms that can cause pneumonia and bronchitis in young children. Since the pandemic, many children are experiencing their first fall season in school. Doctors are suggesting that fact students were out of the classroom for so long may be one of the reasons behind why young people are being hit so hard with RSV right now.
But I think there may be a so-called immunity gap. In other words, in 2020, when SARS-CoV-2 virus entered this country, we didn't have monoclonal antibodies, we didn't have antivirals, we didn't have vaccines. All we could do was limit human contact, which we did by closing schools, closing businesses, restricting travel.
RSV symptoms are worse amongst those under 5 years old, causing a difficulty breathing, loss in appetite, coughing, sneezing, fever, and wheezing. Hospitals are already become overrun by illnesses this fall, but doctors still recommend with children with bad symptoms of RSV are checked out as soon as possible, as the illness can be life-threatening if not treated.
And another new report from the CDC finds that minority groups, including Hispanics, African Americans, American Indian, and Alaska Natives, are more likely to be hospitalized for the flu and less likely to be vaccinated against it. The groups were 1.2 to 1.8 times more likely to be hospitalized than white adults over the past 13 flu seasons. It is believed some of the reasons for the lower flu vaccination rates among minority groups comes from a distrust of the medical system and confusion about vaccine safety. We are now joined by Jerica Lamb, an associate professor in the Chapman School of Pharmacy, to share more insight onto these flu vaccine disparities. Thanks for coming in, Dr. Lamb. Please tell us more about the reasons for the disparities in flu vaccination and hospitalization rates.
Yeah, no, this is a great topic. I think it's important to highlight what's going on within our communities, especially marginalized communities. And I think the highlights that you pointed out in terms of distrust in the science community and healthcare is so true, especially among communities of color who may not understand what is really going on, what they are receiving, and also lack to access to care. Many of the people that I just work with from the clinic, they don't have insurance and they don't really have coverage for the flu vaccines, even though perhaps many of us think that's only $10, $20, but $10 or $20 run very far for these families. And so I think it's lack and distrust of the healthcare science community, lack of access to care, no insurance coverage, and also perhaps maybe cultural barriers as well. Maybe they're used to using herbals and using their holistic remedies instead of using Western medicine. So those are many of the factors that lead to poor uptake in flu vaccinations.
Are there links between COVID vaccines and flu vaccines amongst these minority groups?
Yes, definitely. And I think with what you pointed out earlier, misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine, that's also so true because vaccines, as we all know, they kind of just are melded together. And so a lot of people think the COVID-19 vaccine is similar to a flu vaccine. And so some may think, I already got the COVID-19 vaccine, that will protect me from the flu vaccine. And some who don't want to take the COVID-19 vaccine will think it's the same as the flu vaccine, so I don't want to take that as well. So I think there's a lot of limitations and barriers that we need to really break down and to really have this announcement, this more of a trustworthy information like what you guys are doing, Chapman News, is just to inform them the real facts.
And do you think with this barrier that we're seeing seasonal flu activity earlier this year than in past years?
Definitely, and I think it has to do with a lot of people unmasking. Unfortunately, in the healthcare field, we are seeing uptakes in hospitalizations. What we are noticing is that we're watching the UK and the European countries, and we usually follow a similar trend. So they're having increased rates of hospitalizations in the UK. Most likely, we will see that in the US in the upcoming months.
And for our last question, how can these minority groups gain access needed to help these people during the flu season?
Yes, that's a great question. I would say that is going to be one of the limiting steps, is to really go out into the communities and perhaps maybe promoting via flyers, brochures, having peer-to-peer education, peer-to-peer messengers as well, because I think as we understand, these minorities, they don't look like many of you in this room. They look more like myself, and they look more like the people in LA. And so we need to have people who look like them to be messengers in those communities to bring trust.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insight with us today.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
I'm Avery Feldman, and coming up in sports, I'll have the latest on the MLB World Series, NFL injuries and upsets, and our own Chapman sports teams. Stay tuned.
I'll be seeing you in all of our favorite places with laughter and warm embraces all day through.
Elmo loves you. I love you too.
With free COVID-19 vaccines, sunnier days are ahead. Visit getvaccineanswers.org.
I'll be seeing you.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Diwali, the Festival of Lights, is taking place this week. It is a Hindu religious festival and celebrates the victory of light over darkness and good over evil. Here at Chapman, the South Asian Student Association is holding a celebration with dances and food this Thursday night.
Another celebration that is underway is Oktoberfest. This annual community gathering celebrates the culture and traditions of Bavarian history. Oktoberfest began in 1810 in Munich, Germany, and has been a staple of fall in many cities around the world ever since. The festival includes dancing, carnival rides, food, and the most well-known attraction, beer tents. We celebrated here at Orange County at the Phoenix Club over the weekend. The Oktoberfest Queen says the Anaheim Oktoberfest is true to tradition.
What really gets me, and I've said this for many years, is seeing everybody out there on the dance floor in those 2 or 3 minutes that we're doing one of those silly songs, that they're happy.
Oktoberfest will continue for another week, but if you miss it, do not worry, you can catch it next year. NHL season is just getting underway, and here in OC, there's a special deal Anaheim Ducks fans will want to know about. The Ducks are partnering up with Chick-fil-A. If the Ducks score 5 goals at a home game this season, any OC resident with the Chick-fil-A app can get a free chicken sandwich. Time to get caught up on your sports news.
Avery Feldman is here to tell us which teams have made it to the baseball's World Series and also the start of NBA season.
Welcome to the Best Campus Sports Show. I'm Avery Feldman, here to give you the latest in sports news. Starting off with some major news in the baseball world, the Philadelphia Phillies won their playoff series against the Padres, while Houston Astros swept the Yankees. Both the Phillies and the Astros secured their spots in the World Series starting Friday. The Astros are favored to win the series, but the Phillies are the fan favorite. The NFL is now entering Week 8 of the season, and injuries are starting to show. The New York Jets rookie running back Breece Hall suffered a knee injury Sunday. Coach Robert Saleh says Hall's injury is quote-unquote not good. Hall has been a star offensive player the past few weeks. His injury may derail their season. Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf and Chargers cornerback J.C. Jackson both were carted off with knee injuries as well. The severity of their injuries have yet to be determined. There were 2 major upsets over the weekend. The Carolina Panthers defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 21-3 after trading their star running back Christian McCaffrey to the San Francisco 49ers. The Washington Commanders narrowly beat the Green Bay Packers 23-21. After starting off the season as contenders for the Super Bowl, this puts both the Buccaneers and the Packers at a record of 3-4, and at a disadvantage approaching the second half of the season. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't mention my hometown team, the Arizona Cardinals, who destroyed the New Orleans Saints. DeAndre Hopkins put up 103 yards for his first game of the season after returning from suspension. And on a more personal note, my fantasy football team is second in the league. The NBA season started on Thursday with the Celtics beating the 76ers and the Los Angeles Lakers losing to the Warriors. The Lakers have not won a game yet, and I'm hoping Russell Westbrook is able to step it up soon. Despite the loss, LeBron James is still the king. Moving on to our Chapman sports teams. The Panthers are busy this weekend. Both football and water polo took on Whittier on Saturday. Football crushed it this week, winning 50-7. Quarterback Nathaniel Espinoza has now tied the school record for 6 touchdown passes. Espinoza was also named SCIAC's Football Offensive Athlete of the Week. Water polo took a tough loss with the end result of 10-14. They head to Cal Lutheran tomorrow for their next match. Women's volleyball also lost 1-3 to UC Santa Cruz. Men's soccer won 3-1 against Pomona Pitzer, staying in first place with just 3 games remaining in the season. That's it for sports this week. I'm Avery Feldman, and I'll see you next week on the Best Campus Sports Show.
I'm Alexandra Cohen-Yartz. Coming up after the break, I'll give you all the latest buzz from the entertainment world. Stay tuned for more.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
In California, drivers can now have digital license plates on their cars. The digital plates were initially introduced in a pilot program in 2018. Now California joins Arizona and Michigan as a state that allows drivers to have them. Among the benefits of a digital plate, customization and convenience. Renewing a car's registration can be done through the plate's smartphone app. This new tech is optional. It won't be replacing typical metal license plates, but for drivers who want to drive into the future, battery-powered plates cost just under $20 per month. I guess my metal license plate is going to be more of a vintage look now.
I hope it never goes out of style.
Oh man.
Speaking of Taylor Swift, Alex is here to tell us about her new album release and all the fun and fresh news in entertainment. Alex?
Hi everyone, welcome to Buzz Hub. Today we are looking at some of the most exciting, controversial, and even disturbing entertainment stories. Let's start off with the woman, the myth, the legend, T Swift, who officially released her 10th studio album. The album, which is unironically called Midnights, was released at midnight East Coast time last Friday. Its much anticipated release has been on every Swifties October calendar, and it quite literally crashed Spotify. Wow, what can Taylor Swift not do? Well, not much. Her album was the first to register 1 million units a week in 5 days. And the last one to do this, that was Taylor Swift as well, with her 2017 album, Reputation. The album is being released in 20 different versions and is constantly leaving Swifties with unexpected surprises, like its sudden release of 7 bonus tracks at 3 hours after the original release of the album. Taylor definitely has me on the edge of my seat for what's coming up next. And now, some local entertainment news. OC hosted the 23rd annual Newport Film Festival. The event had 60,000 attendees. The festival screened more than 300 films from 50 different countries. The Newport Beach International Film Festival is the largest international cinema event in all of Southern California. The festival started on October 13th with its opening screening of Daniel Radcliffe's new biopic, Weird, the Al Yankovic story, and ended on October 20th with Rian Johnson's Glass Onion, Knives Out Mystery, starring Daniel Craig. CEO and founder of the festival, Greg Schwenk, says that the festival really reflects the rich diversity of Southern California, while showcasing the amazing storytelling abilities from filmmakers all around the world. What a beautiful quote. Working at a coffee shop, I've got to say that if there is one thing I cannot stand, it is rude customers. Late-night talk show host James Corden is in the news once again for his questionable attitude. Corden was banned from New York restaurant after having abusive behavior towards the staff of Balthazar. Balthazar owner Keith McNally stood up for his restaurant staff by banning Corden from his business and calling him his most abusive customer. McNally says Corden apologized profusely a few hours after the post. But the feud did not stop here. Corden told the New York Times he did nothing wrong. He proceeded to call the whole fiasco a silly situation. Interesting choice of words, Corden. McNally only became even more enraged by Corden's comments and posted on Instagram that he wishes Corden would own up for his mistakes. Anyways, it's one thing to fake carpool karaoke, but being rude to waiters, that's a next level kind of low, James. Well, that's all the buzz I have for you today. Back to you at the desk.
So, what would this spooky season be without a haunted house? Have you ever wondered what it is like to be hit with electric shocks, be put in a gas chamber, or have live roaches be put in your shirt? No, me neither.
Well, as Chapman News reporter Isabella Caprice shows us, the 17th Door Haunted Experience in Fullerton provides all of that and more this Halloween season.
I'm in front of what is deemed the scariest haunted house around. Guests have to sign a waiver before they can even step through the doors of what seems like absolutely no return.
The 17th Door Haunted Experience in Fullerton is one of Orange County's scariest haunted attractions. Guests move through 17 rooms designed to engage all 5 senses. You could experience claustrophobia, electric shocks, dizziness, and foul scents. Co-owner Heather Luther says the idea for this haunted experience came from her husband, and the fictional storyline behind the attraction is very unique to say the least.
College student, her name was Paula. She ended up killing her baby. She was in college, she went to jail. So we are here in the prison. Paula has gotten out of prison, but we're still in prison.
Guest reactions exiting the attraction are mixed. Some people are completely unfazed.
We go in, at first, everybody in our group was all like scared and whatnot, so like I'm expecting it to be super crazy, but really it was just a good time.
While others were in complete shock.
Oh my God. Crazy!
Guests must sign a waiver that removes any liability from the staff members before entering any of the rooms.
Waiver covers everything. Like if you lose something, it's not our responsibility. If you die, it's not our responsibility.
Heather says that some guests come out feeling a sense of accomplishment for making it through the frightening adventure. And if it ever becomes too much, mercy is a safe word. If guests use it, they are able to stop their tour. The actors working say this experience allows them to be their most creative self and to create bonds with one another.
We're close like a family, like it's insane. Like our regular family, like this is us here.
The haunted attraction runs on selective nights throughout the end of the month. With Halloween just around the corner, this destination is sure to bring some fright to local residents. This is Isabella Capri reporting for Chapman News.
I know what we're doing this weekend, Emma.
Oh, we will see about that. Not sure if I want to willingly sign a paper to get electrocuted.
It's all worth it for the adrenaline rush. Anyways, be sure to check out our YouTube page at chapmannews.tv and make sure to follow us at Chapman News. I'm Caroline Applegate.
And I'm Emma Charles. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next Tuesday with more Chapman News.